Okay. Yeah. I had to change. I got the other shirt wet. So, what we are doing is we're reading scary stories. This should be fun. So, where we left off on the last story, basically, I'm going to explain this. This little boy, little 5-year-old, is recalling some memories of Mr. Widemouth. And basically, the kid's confined to a bed. He gets put on bed rest because he gets a horrible fever. That's where we left off. And he was talking about his first encounter with Mr. Widemouth. He's told to call him Mr. Widemouth. His mouth is huge. Everything on him is huge and accentuated. But his mouth is the biggest thing. So that's where we left off. And this little boy says, "You look like a Furby." I think that's so cute. That's what a kid would do. Okay, "You look kind of like a Furby," I said as he flipped through one of my books. Mr. Widemouth stopped and gave me a puzzled look. "A Furby? What's a Furby?" I shrugged. "You know, the toys. They're little furry robots with big ears. You can pet them and feed them, almost like they're your real pets." "Oh," he replied. "You don't need one of those. They aren't the same as having a real friend." I remember that Mr. Widemouth seemed to disappear every time my mother stopped by to check on me. "I hide under your bed," he explained. "I don't want your parents to see me because I'm afraid they won't let us play together anymore." We didn't do much during those first few days. Mr. Widemouth just looked at my books, fascinated by the stories and the pictures they contained. The third or fourth morning after I met him, he greeted me with a big smile on his face. "I have a game we can play," he said. "We have to wait until after your mother comes and checks on you, because she can't see us play. It's a secret game." My mother came in with a few more books and some soda at the usual time. After she left, Mr. Widemouth slipped out from under the bed and tugged me by the hand. "We have to go to the room at the end of the hallway." I objected at first because my parents had forbidden me to leave my bed without their permission. Mr. Widemouth persisted until finally I gave in. The room at the end of the hall had no furniture, no wallpaper. Its only distinguishing feature was a window opposite to the door. Mr. Widemouth darted across the room and gave the window a firm push, flinging it open. Then he beckoned to me and told me to look out at the ground. We're on the second floor of the house, but it was on a hill, and from this angle the drop was more than 2 stories, due to the incline. "I like to play pretend up here," Mr. Widemouth explained. "I pretend that there's a big, soft trampoline below this window, and I jump. If you pretend hard enough, you'll bounce back like a feather. I want you to try." I was 5 with a high fever, so I wasn't thinking very clearly as I looked down and considered the possibility. It's a long drop, but that's all the part of the fun. It wouldn't be fun if it was only a short drop. If it were that way, you may as well just bounce on a real trampoline. I toyed with the idea, picturing myself falling through thin air, only to bounce back up to the window on something unseen by the human eye. But the realist in me prevailed. "Maybe some other time," I said. "I don't know if I have enough imagination. I could get hurt." Mr. Widemouth's face contorted into a snarl, but only for a moment. Anger gave way to the disappointment. "If you say so," he said. He spent the rest of the day under my bed, quiet as a mouse. The following morning, Mr. Widemouth arrived with a small box. "I want to teach you how to juggle. Here's some things you can use to practice before I start giving you lessons." I looked into the box. It was full of knives. "My parents will kill me if I touch those," I shouted, horrified that Mr. Widemouth had brought knives into my room. "My parents would never allow me to touch them. I'll be grounded for a year." Mr. Widemouth frowned. "It's fun to juggle with these. I want you to try." I pushed the box away. "I can't. I'll get in trouble. Knives aren't safe anyway. It's not even safe to throw them around in the air." Mr. Widemouth frowned, deepened into a scowl. He took the box of knives and slid himself under my bed. He remained there for the rest of the day. I began to wonder how often he was under there. I started having trouble sleeping after Mr. Widemouth often woke me up at night. So, saying he put a real trampoline under the big window, a big invisible one. He said that I couldn't see it in the dark. I always declined and tried to go back to sleep. But Mr. Widemouth persisted. Sometimes he stayed by my side until the early morning, encouraging me to jump. He wasn't so fun to play with anymore. My mother came in to me. My mother came to me one morning and told me I was well enough to go outside and walk around for a while. She thought the fresh air would do me some good, especially after being confined to my room for such a long time. Ecstatic, I put on my sneakers and trotted out to the back porch, yearning to feel the sun on my face. Mr. Widemouth was outside, waiting for me. I have something I want you to see, he said. I must have given him a weird look because he added, "It's safe, I promise." I followed him and he led me to a trail that ran through the woods behind the house. No! It's a very important path, he explained. I have a lot of friends about your age. When they are ready, I took them down to this path, to my special place. You aren't ready yet, but one day, I hope to take you there. You're letting off some perv energy. Not cool. I returned back to the house, wondering what kind of place laid at the end of the trail. 2 weeks after I met Mr. Widemouth, we packed up the last of our belongings into a moving truck. We were about to set off on a long drive to our new house. I considered telling Mr. Widemouth that I would be leaving, but even at 5 years old, I was beginning to suspect that perhaps his intentions were not to my benefit, despite what he claimed. For this reason, I decided to keep my departure a secret. It was 4 a.m. by the time we were ready to leave. My mother helped me into the truck, and my father was sitting behind the wheel. I placed my head against the window, hoping to get some sleep before the sun came up. As we backed out of the driveway, I looked up and saw Mr. Widemouth's silhouette in my bedroom window. He stood there, motionless, until the truck was about to turn onto the main road. He gave a pitiful little wave goodbye. A steak knife was in the other hand. I didn't wave back. Years later, I was passing through the area and decided to return and pay a visit to my house. That house. I found that the piece of our land of our house had stood on was very empty except for the foundation. The house had burned down a few years after we left. Out of curiosity, I followed the trail that Mr. Widemouth had shown me. Part of me expected him to jump out from behind a tree and scare the living daylights out of me. But I felt that Mr. Widemouth was gone, somehow, tied to the house that no longer existed. The trail ended at a small cemetery. I noticed that many of the tombstones belonged to children. He killed the children? Oh my gosh. Wasn't expecting that. The way they had it, the way that was set up, the path, it sounded like he was a perv. I'm not even gonna lie. And why the hell are you hiding under a child's bed? I'm not gonna make a logic over this. It's just dumb. Hi. Hey. It's Elizabeth. It's an okay creepypasta. I don't think I've read that one before. That one was new to me. I know what May told me. They have Eyeless Jack, but if it's just encounters, yeah, I've already read that Eyeless Jack one. So we're not rereading that. We're gonna find another scary story. Scary tales. I think I might have read these. If they're Hansel and Gretel, Cinderella, Rumpelstiltskin, Sleeping Beauty, Princess and the Frog, Rapunzel, Alice in Wonderland, Holly, Goldilocks, and the Green Freyo, Holly. I think that one's the one about the sisters. It's based on a German folktale. Yeah, it's about a woman who had 2 daughters. One was very beautiful, and kind, and while the other was lazy. So the beautiful girl goes, sees Fro Holly, I think, or her name is Holly. Fro Holly meets an old woman named Fro Holly. Okay, so basically what happens is the sweet girl helps her out, and she gets a whatever. She gets a reward, and she gets sent home, covered head to toe in gold. I just read that part. I found it. And the lazy one goes and tries to help her, but instead does not get that because her intentions were not nice. The girl refused to do any work, so she sent her home coated head to toe in burning pitch instead. And then I read the rest of the stories I think that were in there. So, yeah. I also enjoy them. Yeah. I'm skimming through. I think I've read this. She falls down the rabbit hole. I want to know what the twist is. That's all. Mostly pictures. Yeah, no, we read that one. She falls to the bottom and she dies. I skimmed through the pictures. I read those ones. One whole live stream dedicated to those. I don't have any rhythm for poems. Haunted places. Scary stories about haunted places. Let's do it. Haunted houses, haunted hotels, ghost towns, haunted mansions. Anytime I hear the word haunted mansion, all I can think of is the movie Haunted Mansion. Haunted universities, haunted cemeteries, haunted lighthouses, ghost trains, haunted locations, scary places, haunted homes, ghost ships. Haunted homes, haunted houses, aren't those basically the same thing? I clicked on haunted houses. I think I've read these. There's the murder house. The Facilla Axe murder house from 1912, I believe is the year, where an entire family was brutally killed and the murderer was never caught. And yeah, it was on June 9th of 1912. And you can go and stay the night there. There was one person that actually suffered self-inflicted wounds on that June 9th of whatever. It was. I gotta find it. You talk about the restoration. That's actually kind of cool. And then I think it was 2000 something, and someone went to the hospital that day. And I read this story from an actual news article because I wanted it to be as detailed as possible. And I read that part, and someone was all like, they could have just done it themselves and done a lot of research. And I was all like, they could have, but I don't think that was what it was. That one sentence, people got mad at. So I took that entire live stream down. For the fact, not having people sit there and yell to me over reading what someone said. So, that stuff gets annoying. But that's not the point. I have read that story. It is interesting, to say the least. They never caught the murderer. That's wow. These are actual places. Oh my word. Haunted houses. Why would Lizzie Borden be a haunted house? The house of Lizzie Borden, where she lived? She's the one that took an axe to her mother and her father and killed them, but they couldn't prove it, or they did prove it, one or the other. Yeah. So basically, they suspected she did it because her behavior after the murders was very suspicious, and she and her family's maid were the only people in the house at the time. They were unable to prove that Lizzie was guilty. She was acquitted and allowed to go free, and the murders were never solved. Yeah. That's almost everywhere. You get documentaries about that, and a lot of shows that will explain that story. And it's interesting that they let her go free, not knowing whether she did or did not do it. But no one knows except for her. No, that happened in 1892. I just read that date. It's interesting to me. I find true crime interesting, and I don't know why. It's just something I've always found interesting. And unsolved cases, those pull me in. These are ghost towns. I gotta look at them. I don't know what any of these places are. Calico? This is Calico Cemetery. A city founded in 1881. It was a silver mining town until 1890. So it's a place where people thought they would get lucky and get rich. So basically, they're just saying it's haunted. Was that what this entire thing is? Oh, yeah, haunted places. Duh. Why are these scary stories? They're not. They are kind of stories, but they're true stories. So they're true events. Events is the word I'm looking for, as opposed to stories which are made up. Scary places. This one would be fun. Oh, scary places like asylums and all that. Oh my word, the Island of the Dolls. I'm gonna click on this because I think I know what it is. Okay. The Island of the Dolls is a true ghost story in quotations, about a scary place in Mexico that is said to be haunted by the ghost of a young girl. It's also known as Isla de las Muñecas, Island of the Dolls. I'm looking through. Yeah, the entire place is surrounded and covered in dolls' severed heads and dismembered body parts of old dolls. And a man every day, for one day, found a girl dead on the island, and I guess or someone has put dolls everywhere just to calm down her spirit. And it's a tourist destination where people come from all around the world to see creepy and bizarre decorations. It's not nice to call it decorations. Someone's actually doing that not to be called decorations. You'd think if the place was haunted, which I don't doubt. I really don't. I believe in ghosts. I really do. But if someone's haunting that place, they're not going to be really happy with you going there and making fun of it, or going there just for the tourist attraction. Hello. So, no, I don't know. We're reading scary stories. Or trying to find another scary story in that case. I want to read stuff that is actually not not real. I mean, these are interesting, but I want to read actual stories. Because these aren't fake. Most of these are real. Asylums and abandoned doctor's offices. Those are creepy. You have to admit that. That's freaky. Scary photos. I don't know if I can explain any of these. The first one's not even there. Oh, but in this picture, if I can get, I can't even show you. It's a woman standing, and there's a man that kind of looks like Slenderman in the back. And this one's a bunch of kids. I might look at this later, but I need to know now with this little voice. No! Whoa! What the hell? I scrolled down. Oh, that one has a woman in the back. Okay. So, the dark shadow of a person. So, I don't see anyone. That's his arm. That's his arm. Someone's over there. That's that boy's arm. And okay, so the way they have it is one boy's doing this little number with the middle finger. There's one that has his arm on that guy's shoulder, and then his other arm's just sitting down, and then there's a guy beside him that's going like this, literally just the first finger. This, they're doing this on the end, and then there's someone behind them. It's all like,
Want it down to what you show?
You let me finish, and I'll be down there.
Oh, so
It's at dead of night.
I know.
Door. We're watching this guy named 8-Bit Ryan, and he's playing at dead of night. I watched it the other day, but Mom wanted to finish watching it. Honestly, it's an okay game. I say okay because a couple of the stories are sad, and I'm not very good with sad things. But anyway, let me finish explaining this. And the boy that's going is doing this on both sides of his friends that are staying there. And there is another hand going like this. Where did that other hand come from? Because you guys' other hand, it's down and behind him. So there's no way he can be able to go up and do that. So it's weird. Weird pictures. I can spot. Oh, that one's freaky. There's two guys standing, and then there's just this little creepy girl standing in the back. Oh my word, I can't even spot this one. Whoa, that bunny is freaky. Don't make your kids take a picture with that bunny. There's a guy in that window. I don't know. I don't know what's in that picture. This person's standing outside that woman's window. That bunny's creepy. Guy's face is in that girl's bed. This guy's standing outside the window watching these women in that bathtub. That's creepy. It's a child in the box in the back. Creepy woman outside her window. Why is it a picture of her legs? There's someone in between her legs. Okay. The little boy's reflection, his eyes are open, but in the actual picture, his eyes are closed. There's someone in their back window. The reflection thing. Creepy person in the back. Oh, wait. Wait. Where are your solutions? I want them. Because there's one I really don't know. You didn't give anyone the solution. Number 11. Is that the one? No, it's the bunny. The bunny's creepy. Okay. Creepy guy in the window. Creepy baby face guy. Number 20. Oh, yeah, I saw that one. Never mind. If she has her back to the mirror reflection showing her facing forward. Yeah. Ghost in the door window. Creepy girl behind her. Yeah. And what'd you say about that woman on the subway station? Used to be. Oh, no, creepy girl behind her, 16. What appears to be a ghost in the door window. What? Oh. Oh. I didn't even notice that. That's the one I couldn't figure out, but there's a family. What number is that family picture? 8. Did you got one for 8? You do not, because you don't know either. 8. There's a disembodied hand by her shoulder. The little girls. Okay, wait. There. Oh, wait! I've seen a video on this. That's right. There's a hand that looks like the mom's hand, but when you realize both the mom's hands are around their baby, there's the youngest girl, and then another little girl, the mom, and she's holding a baby. Both hands are on the baby, and then I'm assuming it's the dad. I assume it's a big family picture, and he has his arms by the older girl's back of her head. And there's an arm on that girl's shoulder. I thought it was the fact that it doesn't look like there's grass behind her legs. But, whatever. I'm 100% sure that's your sister in that closet. You can't convince me otherwise. Okay. Scary pictures, they don't make sense because I can't show you guys. So yeah, I think for now, that's where I'm going to leave it. So I can go watch my show downstairs. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!